Jencen, and welcome back to the Nikki Jencen Show. I have not recorded a show in a very long time, so I appreciate your forgiveness in that hiatus. It's been a journey. It's been quite the journey. I went back to school and got a master's degree in organizational leadership. And I also went back, I worked for somebody else for 10 months, and that was also a life-changing experience. And so it's been good. There's been a couple of changes besides getting a master's degree. I now have a dog, which I will introduce you to her. Her name is Bailey.
Bailey. Hi. Meet Bailey.
And then we also got a bunny. Meet Hazelnut. She is our furry little friend that Bailey wants to eat on a daily basis.
Bailey, you want to go see the bunny? You want to go see the bunny? Where's the bunny? Come on, let's go see the bunny. Come on. Let's go see the bunny. Okay. Oh, see? Yes. Hi, Hazelnut. This is our bunny. Oh, and Bailey wants to eat her every single chance she can get. Oh, see that little... Yes. Don't be crazy. Hi, Hazelnut. That's our Hazelnut. Hi, girl. Don't you eat her. Don't you eat her. Oh, shoot. I just had that open. You want to eat the bunny? You want to eat the bunny, Bailey? What are you saying? Not today? Not today? You licking your chops? No. Okay, that's our bunny.
But anyways, the reason why you're here is because you want to watch a show. And so my next guest, allow me to introduce you to Rachael Pontillo. She is the best-selling author of the book Love Your Skin, Love Yourself, and the co-author of The Sauce Code. So, welcome Rachael Pontillo to the show.
Hello, Rachael. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm here with Rachael Pontillo, and she just informed me she's Italian. And I am totally stoked about that because from one Italian girl to the next, we have some good things to talk about. So we're talking about skincare and all the good stuff that you have to offer. So Rachael, tell me your story. How did you get into this?
Well, I find that everybody who is into skincare for some reason is usually in it because they had to be, not necessarily because they want to be. And that's what happened to me. I actually got into it because I had acne starting at a very young age. For me, it started when I was around 10. You know, some girls are getting their first training bras. Well, I got my first pimple, and not so much fun for me, but it kind of got worse, and then it got a little bit better, and then it got worse again later on. Pregnancy was not all that friendly to my skin, and I know a lot of women do struggle with skin conditions during pregnancy and after pregnancy. So really from the time I was about 10 to about 32, I really struggled with acne. I had just about every form of acne that you would ever read about, from the blackheads to the whiteheads and the cystic acne. I do have scars that are not all that visible today anymore because I've figured out what to do about that. But for years I struggled with scars, and it was really difficult. It took a lot of toll on me. So I really dedicated so much of my energy into not only surviving as someone with a skin condition and feeling comfortable and feeling confident, but figuring out like, oh my God, what am I going to do about this? I don't want to live like this. I don't want to constantly be covering it. So for me, I grew up in a household with a very health conscious mom. She was always cooking and always making different herbal and vitamin concoctions. I got to be her guinea pig for her skin concoctions, which, you know, she had the right idea, and it definitely planted the seeds for me for wanting to make products myself. And she always had the mindset, like we'd go to the store and she'd see something and she'd be like, oh, we could totally make that ourselves for so much less money. Blah, blah, blah. You know, it was like, I always was taught the value that anything homemade is better than anything store-bought. So that is kind of what planted seeds for what I wanted to do later. But while I was getting there, while I was being mom's guinea pig, there were times when we did not have good results. I would have something that she would say to put on my face and it just didn't work. And then it was not a great experience. So I kind of then went away to, all right, well, if mom's creations don't work, well, then we got to go to the dermatologist, or we got to go to the esthetician, or we got to go to the department store. And long story short, I tried pretty much everything. Any type of medication that you can imagine, I tried it. I tried all of the different products and services that the spa offered for acne clients. I tried natural things. I tried just about everything, and certain things worked for a period of time, and then I would run out of a product and the acne would come back, or I would get another symptom caused by a product that I tried. I remember I was on a product line that shall not be named but rhymes with Schmoactive for a while, that bleached my skin, bleached my eyebrows, bleached my hairline, bleached my pillowcases because of the peroxide that's in it. And for years after I stopped using that product, even in early blog posts on my blog, Holistically Haute, makeup posts that I did back then, I wrote about how my face is several shades lighter than my neck and my chest. So I had to buy foundation to match my face and then add bronzer and contouring to make it match. Otherwise, I could have tried to just match my neck, but then I would look like an Oompa Loompa. Right. So it really, for 2 to 3 years after I stopped using those products, my pigmentation did not come back. And that's crazy. But I remember going to my mother-in-law's house and sleeping over, and she had these beautiful new pillowcases. And the morning I left, there was this big old white stain on the pillowcase from my freaking skincare products. And she's like, I don't know what happened. These are 1,000 thread count Egyptian cut. And I'm like, sorry. And that's just one example, but I did not find what I was looking for with the products that were on the market, with the medications that were on the market. And if they worked for a short period of time, they then stopped working or they caused another problem. So that seemed to just be what it was, until I figured out that it doesn't matter what you put on your skin if what's going on inside your body and inside your mind is not conducive to healthy skin. What you see on the outside is a clear reflection of what you see on the inside of someone's health. I'm sure that your audience has heard that before, but it is so true. And for me, I went back to school after I had my kids. So I have a college degree. I went to work in corporate America after the college degree. Never found what I wanted to do when I grew up. So I figured, okay, well, now's a great time to have the kids, and then I'll figure it out later. So it was always the plan that when my younger daughter was going to be in school full time, I would go back to work. So she's in preschool, and I'm like, oh my God, that time is coming really soon. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I had a friend, I still have a friend, but my friend is a manicurist, and she said, well, you're really good at doing makeup, so why don't you do makeup? And makeup is something that I've done longer than anything else because I had to cover the acne. So I got really good at doing makeup. And I said, well, I could do makeup, but don't you need like a license for that? I don't want to work at the department stores anymore. I did that for years. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm kind of sick of just like covering up. I want to learn more about skin. And she's like, well, why don't you just get an aesthetics license and then you can be an esthetician? I'm like, huh. So I looked it up and I found that I could go to night school, and we were able to make it work with my husband's schedule and the kids' schedules and all that. So I got my aesthetics license. But because I had this already kind of crunchy, holistic mindset based on how I grew up with, the example from my mom, I was, and I had already experienced a lot of negative side effects from the harsh acne ingredients. I was really reluctant to dive into conventional aesthetics because I had not had success with it myself. I went into it to get the license to maybe be able to do makeup and maybe be able to do facials. But what I found when I was there is that a lot of the treatments that I went through to get my license, because you have to practice on each other, I actually left aesthetic school with worse skin than when I went in. I have hyperpigmentation that's left over from some of those treatments. I have broken capillaries. I have lines on my forehead that I did not have when I went in there. And this is years ago. Of course, I have more lines now because I'm 40. But
no, you don't. I want that secret sauce, girl.
Well, anywho, we'll talk about the secret sauce in a little while. But the point of the matter is that the aesthetics program that I went to was good in that our instructor did have a holistic mindset, but she also did teach the conventional, more medical type procedures. And we had product lines that were both considered your science-based product lines with like your peptides and your stem cells and your this and your that. And we did the chemical exfoliation, we did the microdermabrasion, we did that. But on the flip side, we also had a skincare line that was based on herbs, Ayurvedic herbs in particular. And a guest instructor that she brought in often did Ayurvedic certification training with us. And that was a very holistic counterpart. We also did a form of hot stone therapy that combined far infrared light that was based on the traditional Chinese medical meridian points. So it was a really nice contrast to have both. And I just gravitated towards the more holistic and natural aspect of it. And I really cringed. Like I wanted the chemical exfoliation and I wanted the microdermabrasion because I'm like, ooh, I'm going to look 20, I'm going to look, my age forever. But I don't like the idea of hurting your skin in order to feel good about yourself.
I agree.
The idea of hurting to help or hurting for beauty, suffering for beauty, I think women need to outgrow that mentality. I don't think it's beneficial for women in any way, whether it's something that we're putting on our bodies or our face. Mm-hmm. So I really fully embraced the holistic side of things and started just diving into learning more about the herbs and learning more about the oils and what ingredients work together, what happens when the molecules from this plant marry with this plant and form this synergy and this alchemy that can't necessarily be explained by science, but works magic when you apply it to real people. And when I began my practice, and I also then went to nutrition school and learn more about the dietary aspect of skin. And I realized like, oh my gosh, it's not about what you put on your face, but it's about what you put into your body. But we also can't neglect the skin because the skin is not disconnected from the rest of our body. It's the largest organ of the body. So we have to nourish it and care for it in the same way that we would nourish and care for our internal body with healthy whole foods. So I consider herbs in skincare and making skincare a way of nourishing our skin with whole plant nutrition the same way we would cook a home cooked meal to nourish ourselves. It's a difference of, do we want a processed food meal or do we want a home cooked meal? What's going to be healthier? What's going to be more nourishing? Is it going to be better to have a synthetic vitamin made in a lab on our skin that has no life force energy whatsoever that our bodies don't know what to do with? Or is it better to have something that comes from its whole food form that the skin recognizes and said, hey, yeah, I know you, come on in. I know you and I want some more of that. So I just dove really hard into that mentality and I just started loving experimenting with different plants and different oils and different formulations and making my own extracts and tinctures and glycerates and infused oils. And I started teaching locally here in the Philadelphia area. And all of a sudden people online, because I had already started my blog, I had my Facebook page, and I would post like, oh, I'm teaching this skincare class in Philadelphia. And then people in Vegas would be like, well, can you come teach it here? Or people up in New York State would be like, can you come teach it here? I even had someone from England say, can you come teach it here? I'm like, no, That is a lot of stuff to schlep back and forth all over the place, even just 10 minutes away. I would have to carry 2 and 3 milk crates full of ingredients and supplies. And it was just, that was not the fun part of it, the schlepping part. I love teaching. I love making the products. I love when I watch people experience using handmade products for the first time after using products that are primarily water and chemicals. It's a big difference. The first time I taught a class live, my students said, "Oh my God, it smells like the spa in here. I'm relaxed and I feel more beautiful just being in this room with you." And let me tell you, that was not a sexy room. That was this little kitchen in this little like community neighborhood adjunct teaching facility. It was not cute, but just being in the presence of those plants and the essential oils and sharing what I consider herbal tradition with other women, which I think is such a responsibility that women have towards preserving that lineage, is to share it, to teach it. That created such a beautiful experience. And when we use plants, when we work with plants and we communicate with plants and we share them and we experience them, that just creates so much beauty that you can't get from lab created products. It just doesn't happen. So
now, you mentioned the fact that you went to nutrition school.
I did.
So when you put good food in your body, why isn't that enough?
That's such a great question. Well,
thank you. Thought of it myself, actually.
Awesome. So it is a fact that healthy skin cells are made on the inside. They're not made on the outside. The skin that we see on the outside is technically already dead. Those are dead skin cells. We know this. These are the cells that we exfoliate off. When we are doing exfoliation, they're the cells that are there to protect us and to keep all the bad stuff out so that everything on the inside is protected so that it can grow healthy. So absolutely, we need healthy foods, whole food-based diet, proper hydration, proper balance of essential fatty acids, phytonutrients, micronutrients, macronutrients, all of these amazing things that we get from whole foods. And I do believe that for some people, supplementation from a high quality supplement can be necessary. But that being said, when we take in nutrients from food, same with when we take in water from food, it first goes to nourish all of the internal organs. And by the time it gets to the skin, there's not a heck of a lot left. The skin kind of gets the leftovers, which is a little bit unfortunate. So even if the skin does have the tools that it needs to form healthy on the inside, by the time it makes its journey to the top, and the top is what's exposed to all of the elements on the outside, if it doesn't have the same level of nutrition coming in from the outside to nourish and protect and hydrate on the outside, then it doesn't get there all the way fully intact. Mm-hmm. And the majority of the damage from free radicals, from the sun, from pollution, from other toxicants that we're to on a regular basis comes from the outside. So if this is our armor, if this is our first line of defense, we have to help that out as much as we can on the outside so that all the good work we're doing on the inside matters when it's the outside, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I believe that you have to do both.
I do too. And you know, this is funny. I just brought this up to my son because he's 11 and he's experiencing eczema on his arms. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, what can I put on it? He wants to put on all these toxic creams. And I said, honey, it isn't what is on your body. It's what goes in your body. So it doesn't matter how many things you put in it or on top of it. It's what you put in your body. And he had like an 11-year-old aha moment where he was like, oh, okay. So
see, you're lucky he had the aha moment. My 12-year-old just gives me the eye roll and the head flip and the whatever, mom.
I know. You know, and you know, it's funny is that I grew up very similar to you with my mom being very holistic, and I was raised holistic and Italian, you know, and my mom was an esthetician. And so she made all these creations. She did.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I learned a lot from her. When I was 10 years old, I was also experiencing acne.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I learned from her was very quickly, Nick, you cannot put these very drying products on your face. It's that you combat oil with oil. So if you're making too much oil, then you combat it with another oil. And let me tell you, that was a huge saving grace for me. I learned that, just by using olive oil or a concoction of oils, and I'll tell you, I used Origins actually. They're not sponsoring the show or anything. So just a little shout out. But, I used Origins oil and I really significantly saw a difference. And I was already eating an organic, plant-based diet, but it really did help the blackheads. And to tell you the truth, you came on like the perfect day where I have like this huge zit on the side of my nose.
Well, I can't see it, so
you can't
worry. No,
oh, thank God.
Good.
Okay, good. I tried to cover it. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna be on with Rachel and she's gonna see my zit. I'm gonna really blow my cover that I have this really great skin. I think I do have okay skin. I've had the occasional zit, and of course, when Rachel comes on, I have to get a zit. It was just for you, actually. It was like, I have to pop out just to show face. Don't be too confident in yourself, Nikki.
It always happens. I remember the first book signing I did was at a big show. It was at National Products Expo West in Anaheim, which is like the mecca of natural health and beauty products. You go in there, you pretty much just want to like pitch a tent and live there. But I get there and I don't know what the reaction was that I had, but I got like this rash around my mouth. I'm like, oh my God, I just wrote this book about my skincare story, about my life story and my skincare practice. And I'm doing this talk and this book signing at this big show. And these people are going to be up close and personal. And I have this like funk on my mouth. I'm like, what am I going to do? And sometimes nature plays little games on us like that. But,
and then you go, oh no, what if they think it's like a fake alert? Like,
I know.
What if they're not going to take me seriously?
I know.
Well, I had that too. Trust me.
Yeah, that didn't happen. I got nothing but hugs and love after that talk.
Oh, good.
So I'm sure you will get nothing but love after people start seeing your show.
Well, thank you. It was previous when I was doing weight loss programs. My program was called Wheat Free Adventure, and I had lost like 30 pounds going, totally grain-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, and basically like food free. True. I was basically only eating vegetables and I was really skinny, but at the same time, I felt like I was starving myself. So I started eating again, and then I started gaining weight, and then I'm going, oh crap, now I'm up in my weight. So people are going to think like that I'm a total fake and phony. So I took last year off because I had to deal with that side of business for me. Now I'm totally over it, whatever.
But it is a real challenge when you're out there in the wellness world as a wellness leader, whether you're doing weight loss or skincare, and people are looking at you and you're expected to walk your talk. And I totally get it. There are days I have less good skin days than others. There are days that I have 2 businesses. I have 2 children. I homeschool one of my children. There are days that I don't get a lot of sleep and my skin will show it. I went through a stage fairly recently. I haven't really talked about this publicly yet, but I got an infection that it rocked my world, because for the longest time I had figured out my diet. I had figured out my fitness. I was doing my meditation. I had my self-care on point. I was like,
girl, you were doing meditations with 3 kids you have?
2. I have 2.
Oh, 2 kids.
But,
well, still, I barely have time to pee.
Dude,
that's amazing.
I had it down.
You had to figure it out.
Super mom, woohoo,
That is.
And then
where's your cape?
Yeah, right. It came crashing down all of a sudden I started gaining weight. I started getting these strange, weird, unexplainable infections that I would go to different doctors. I see naturopathic doctors and nutritionists and Chinese medical doctors primarily. And I'm hearing, oh, heavy metal toxicity. Oh, what are you not seeing that your eyes are puffy now? What are you not wanting to see? And all of these different things. I'm taking all these homeopathic supplements. And I finally got to the point where I decided to do a detox, because I do like to do a seasonal detox. And I have never had a bad reaction to a detox other than just the regular kind of detox symptoms like, I'm tired, got a headache, But I happened to be at the dentist's office with my kids. I fainted. I passed out. And I was terrified. I'm like, I've never experienced fainting or anything like that from a detox. And I really think it was the detox that was telling me, hey, there is something really wrong here. So I decided to get some functional nutritional testing done, which uncovered a whole bunch of food sensitivities that I was not aware that I had. And it's amazing because the food sensitivities that I had when I was clearing up my skin with the nutrition, which was the gluten, dairy, sugar, it turns out that what I was replacing the wheat and the gluten with, which was primarily brown rice, I have a sensitivity to brown rice. So I was eating rice almost every day.
Yeah.
Because I personally don't do well without some form of grains, whole grains. My body always does better with whole grains. I've tried being grain-free and it gives me the worst sugar cravings and mood swings.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. So that doesn't happen to me. I was severely constipated for 3 years.
Oh my God.
I didn't take a crap for 3 years.
That's terrible.
No kidding.
You got to eat some fiber, girl.
I was eating lots of vegetables. I was taking,
sometimes you need the grains.
As soon as I got back on the grains, I started crapping like a queen. It was awesome. And, couple that with a cup of coffee in the morning, it is flying out. And I can tell you that I am constipation free. Thank you, God. Magnesium coupled with coffee, coupled with fiber. What kind of fiber do I take? Not the psyllium husk. I hate that stuff. Flaxseed oil, or flaxseed, just ground up flaxseed.
Yeah.
That's it. And I'll tell you, it has been a huge difference in my life. But I'll tell you what, the grains actually pack on pounds for me.
Do they? Yeah. Some people, it's such an interesting balance. And, in studying functional nutrition more after going through all of this testing for myself, because my nutritional background is not with testing, it's with health coaching and holistic nutrition. And I also have additional training with Chinese medicine and Ayurveda and stuff like that. It was all diet and food based. Mm-hmm. But once that was not working for me anymore, and it's not that it wasn't working, it was that something changed and I needed to give myself more tools in order to figure out what changed. So that's when I started working with a functional nutritionist who happens to also be a wonderful friend of mine. And the test that we did found the problem. And I don't know how long I had the infection, but it was possibly, I would say up to a year that I was not feeling well. My super mom-dom came to that crashing end. I couldn't get moving. I would take my kids to school, my one kid to school, and they get the other one set up with her work and have to go take a nap in the morning. I would have to take a nap in the afternoon. I looked puffy. My pigmentation got really screwy. My oil levels in my skin shifted to a point that it was completely indicative that something is off here, because I always have oily skin. I don't have oily skin like I did when I was a teenager anymore, but if I wake up in the morning and my skin does not have some sort of oiliness, that's not normal for me. And I know that. So
what kind of infection was it?
H. pylori.
I had H. pylori.
Yeah.
Last year, August.
Yeah.
So funny that you said that. That's like the worst, right? It was awful pain.
Yep. So once we figured out that that's what it was, and I got on a protocol, I'm not going to lie, I started feeling worse before I started feeling better. But then all of a sudden I started feeling better. I started waking up before my alarm. If you look at on my YouTube channel, you can see in my podcast episodes how in some videos I am puffy. I look exhausted.
That's exactly what happened to me.
I went through my last launch for my Create Your Skincare course in the spring. I was so sick for 5 weeks of that. I lost my voice. I had to do 5 webinars with no voice. I was puffy. I was dragging myself. And then shortly after that, that's when I'm like, oh my God. It was after the fainting that I figured something had to change. But I looked in the mirror and I'm like, I look off brand. You know, we got into this conversation with both of us saying like, you know, we got to walk our talk if we're in this space.
Absolutely.
I looked in the mirror. I'm like, I do not look like someone who should be teaching people how to look and feel their best. So I have to pull back and
but you know what?
First, and then.
That's why you're real. I love that you just show this authentic side of you, because so many experts out there, they don't show that side. And, you know, I have to say, look, we're human. We're going to get, we're going to have stuff. And plus when you work and you're stressed out, and you run a blog and you run a business and you're a mom and you wear all these hats and like, you're supposed to meditate and you're supposed to eat healthy and you're supposed to go grocery shopping and you're supposed to clean your house. I mean, come on, people, give us a break. We're only human, living a human experience, and we can't continue life on that road. Something has to change, and it will change through sickness every time.
That's what it is. The body, the skin, our health. If our minds are not getting it, our bodies will let us know, and our bodies will say, you got to stop.
Yeah.
And that's when we have to pay attention. So I have been, since I had that experience in the spring, and now that I'm feeling better, there is not a week that I don't have some sort of self-care. I've been rotating with chiropractic and acupuncture. I've been going back to get facials again. For so long, I just did my own. But I'm like, you know what? I can allow someone else to care for me for once.
Yeah.
And, you know,
yeah,
it's something that I enjoy. It's something that I teach. That's walking your talk, is when you do allow for the fact that you can't do it all the time, nor should you. We're all in this together, and we're here to help each other and support each other. So I really believe in reaching out for help when you need it. And for control freaks like me, that's not easy to do. But if we don't, we will make ourselves sick. And, you know, we started off this conversation talking about skincare. Your skin will not look good if you're not feeling good.
That's right.
Or emotionally, mentally, whether you look tired or old or flat or dull, the skin will always tell the truth. And it doesn't matter what you cover it with. You could put on 5 coats of foundation and color and bronzer, and you could contour and strobe. It doesn't matter. It's the light within that is what brings the beauty on the outside. And that has to come from the physical health, but also the mental and emotional health. And we have to consistently look at where we're at and adjust. We're human beings, and human beings, as part of nature, change. Everything changes with living beings, whether we are plants or humans. As we age, as the seasons change, as our stress levels shift, as different things in our environment affect us, we have to roll with the punches. We have got to go with the flow. And that's one thing, you know, talking back about the synthetic skincare ingredients, they don't change. They are fixed. They are created synthetically. They are the same every single time. Well, that's not what happens with the human experience. You know, when you cook the same recipe over and over again, it still comes out a little bit differently every time. That's because a human made it, and you're working with plants that are not exact clones of each other, even if they're the same species.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a little bit of a variation. And I consider that one of nature's great mysteries. And I like to keep it a mystery. I think that that's where the goodness and the special sauce is in that unknowable, in that mystery.
Mm-hmm.
With carrier oils are made into soap, and there's a part of oils that are considered the non-saponifiables, meaning they're the antioxidants and the nutrients that actually don't get turned into soap. That's the special sauce of those oils. I feel like these synergies in nature are like that special sauce in nature. We don't know exactly, what the exact count is going to be or what the exact action is going to be, but that's okay. I believe that it gives us what we need when we need it. And we have to just constantly check back and check where we're at. So I'm on this new protocol now. I'm feeling better. The infection is gone, but I'm not good to go forever now. Something else could happen where I need to reassess.
Yeah.
And that was a huge lesson for me to learn. Just when we think we have it figured out, something can change.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be able to go back in and change that. And, taking it back to skincare, that's another big reason why I really recommend that people make their own, is because how many times have you bought some expensive skincare regimen, you use it for a while, and it stops working?
Mm-hmm.
Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah.
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 And then how do you feel? You feel like, okay, well, what's wrong with my face?
Yeah.
Or,
what's wrong with me?
What's wrong with me? You blame yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you're just human. You changed. The product is what's the same.
Right.
So that leaves people feeling sometimes like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I have to go back to the drawing board completely. I have to spend all this money to find a product that's going to work for me. But when you make your own and you have a framework for what your skin needs, you can just make little adjustments and tweaks when the season changes, or if you find that something is happening and you need a little bit more moisture, you need a little bit more vitamins, more fats, more anything. You can just make those little shifts yourself, and it's a steady stream.
Mm-hmm.
And it just flows. I haven't had what I call a skincare crisis since I started using products only that I've made for myself. Before that, anytime I would use a product and it would get reformulated or discontinued, I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Right.
I would be devastated.
Now you're like, oh my gosh, this contains propylene glycol?
Yeah.
That wasn't there before.
And that's a great point. When you're buying products from a company, you don't have control over the decisions they make. They're not thinking about your skin when they're making their products. They're thinking about their bottom line.
That's a great point. Their bottom line is to make money, have profits, and do whatever it takes.
Yep.
So that means cutting out expensive ingredients and putting in cheaper ingredients.
Lower quality ingredients.
Lower quality, exactly. Rachel, I am so excited to hear about your program, because I know how much this is going to help people, especially with even having after birth, having a baby can bring different effects to the skin. So if they can join your program and they can create their own skin care or skin care line, and you're helping facilitate that. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So thank you for asking. So I have a course called Create Your Skincare. As I mentioned, I used to teach in person. I no longer do that. I teach online exclusively now because I can reach more people and help more women and share what I know with more women that way. And it took me a little while to get the technology that I needed to get that out there. But it's been going strong since 2014. And the course is growing. We have amazing women in the course. I have 2 different versions of the course. One is live that I teach twice a year, where we do it in the fall. We do it in the spring, where there are live group training calls. There's a certification process. There's the option to join us for a mastermind if you are interested in having a skincare business. I know so many moms are looking for legitimate work from home businesses, and they kind of feel like they're limited in what their options are. Some of them don't want to go the MLM route. They don't want to go the envelope stuffing route. They want to do something that is theirs, and they want to do something that is for their own dreams, not for the dreams of someone else. And I so relate to that. I was one of those unemployable people. That's why I knew that when I went back to work, it had to be for myself. So I am really honored to help inspire women to have a skincare business that is based on something that they're passionate about, but also something that helps their family and helps other women in their lives. So that is an option that they have. If you're not in it for the skincare business aspect of it, and you just want to learn how to take your skin into your own hands, and you don't want to have to worry about reading labels and using apps to see how toxic is your product, I don't got time for that. I don't know about you, but I do not have time to sit in an aisle in a store with my phone scanning all these products to see how toxic it is, and then to look on the labels to see if the ingredients are on this product. I just do not have time for that. I don't have time to look through ingredient dictionaries. I don't have time to sit on the EWG website and look up every single thing. I don't have time for that. And if you are a busy mom like I am, or a busy woman who has a career, like many of your audience members are, I'm sure, you don't have time for that. And that should not be on you. You should not have to double check that products that are being sold to you are safe.
Amen, sister. Amen. Preach it all the way. I agree. I love that.
So
I am so inspired.
Oh, good.
So I am so inspired. Seriously.
Awesome. So yeah, I mean, some people tell me like, oh, well, maybe it takes a long time to learn how to do that. Well, once you learn it, and then you know what you need, and you just make your products, and it's fun. And you can do it with your kids. Whenever I make products, my kids are always involved. Yeah. My older daughter, she is getting to be a little bit of a science geek, and I am learning more about lipids and carrier oils. And she came up to me and she's like, okay, so this oil is more saturated than this oil, and that means that it has more hydrogen atoms, right? I'm like, yep. So, I mean, it's a way that you can connect with your kids. It's educational. It's fun. It's like cooking. If you can cook, you can make skincare. Yeah. Even the more complicated skincare products like creams and lotions, if you know how to make sauce, you can make cream or lotion. It really is that simple. You just have to know what you're doing. Yeah. And in my course, I teach that you don't have to be a chemist or a scientist to be able to make great products. You do need to know a couple of techniques. I teach you those techniques. Wow. I break it down really simple. All of the content is stuff that you can watch over and over again. You can pause, you can rewind. There's workbooks that you can download. As I was saying, I have the version that's for people who want a skincare business, or if you're already a wellness or skincare professional, Create Your Skincare Live or Mastermind would be great for you. But if that's not your goal, you just want to make amazing products for you and your family, Create Your Skincare On Demand is available year round.
Awesome. So createyourskincare.com. Go there, sign up. You have a way of communicating with everybody, keeping in touch. You're on Facebook. I will have all the links down below in the description, so you don't have to go searching. So don't worry about that. And I hope that everyone really got something out of this show. I hope that you are inspired like I am. And thank you, Rachael. You are a wealth of information. You are so beautiful inside and out.
Thank you.
You are a mama, and I am so excited that you and we're in the same tribe. We're in the mama tribe.
We are in the mama tribe, and it's been such a pleasure to talk to you. I am so excited about your show. I'm excited to share it with my audience. I know they're going to love it, and we're going to have to do this again sometime.
Yes, absolutely. I want people to leave a comment below and share your thoughts, ask some questions, and we'll bring Rachael back on maybe for a live show and maybe live Q&A if she's willing.
fun. That sounds awesome.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and your wisdom.
Thank you for having me.
We dance.